Something sacred occurs when separation enters your life without warning. One day, connection fades. Messages stop. Presence dissolves. Not because love lacked meaning, not because effort missed value, but because a higher order stepped in. Removal never arrives as punishment. Removal arrives as revelation. This message speaks to hearts asking silent questions at night. Why did distance appear? Why did access close? Why did comfort turn into quiet? Scripture shows a repeating pattern. When correction fails through words, truth arrives through loss. When awareness refuses to rise through mercy, understanding enters through absence. This teaching reveals 7 deep reasons God removed you so that another soul could feel the weight of what they once released lightly. Not for revenge. Not for pride. For awakening. Stay present. Each section uncovers truth meant to settle confusion, restore dignity, and release peace. 1. God removed you to create a mirror they could no longer escape. Do not be deceived, God cannot be mocked. A man reaps what he sows. Galatians 6 verse 7. Some lessons resist explanation. Words fall flat. Warnings sound like noise. Advice turns invisible. At that moment, God allows experience to speak. Your presence once softened consequences. Your forgiveness reduced impact. Your patience absorbed damage. Removal changed that equation. Once absence arrived, silence became a mirror. Once comfort vanished, reflection began. Now, every quiet moment reflects choices once dismissed. Emotional distance exposes emotional neglect. Loss creates clarity words never produced. This removal allowed them to face the echo of their own actions, without distraction. 2. God removed you to restore balance, not to cause pain. The Lord works righteousness and justice for all the oppressed. Psalm 103 verse 6. Balance matters in spiritual law. When one soul gives endlessly while another receives carelessly, imbalance grows. God corrects imbalance through separation. Not because cruelty deserves cruelty, but because understanding requires equality. Distance creates space for value recognition. Absence reintroduces respect. What once felt guaranteed now feels rare. What once felt secure now feels fragile. What once felt replaceable now feels irreplaceable. Justice arrived quietly, without argument. 3. God removed you so feeling could replace comfort. The heart knows its own bitterness, and no stranger shares its joy. Proverbs 14 verse 10. Comfort dulls awareness. Familiarity numbs gratitude. Easy access reduces care. When God removes comfort, feeling awakens, loneliness enters, regret surfaces, memory intensifies. Suddenly, moments once ignored carry weight. Words once overlooked echo loudly. Energy once taken lightly feels deeply missed. Feeling teaches faster than explanation. Absence sharpens emotional sight. For God removed you to end a cycle that drained your soul. Shake the dust from your feet. Matthew 10 verse 14. Not every separation centers the other person. Some separations exist for protection. God saw exhaustion forming, God saw giving without return, God saw love turning into labor. Removal ended a cycle that demanded sacrifice without nourishment. Protection arrived disguised as loss. Distance restored strength, silence restored clarity, release restored peace. Sometimes removal rescues the one who stayed too long. 5. God removed you so consequences could teach what love could not. Whoever spares the rod hates their children, but the one who loves their children cares to discipline them. Proverbs 13 verse 24. Love explained. Patience endured. Grace covered. Still, change delayed, so God introduced consequence, not harshness, consequence, not anger, instruction. Loss became the teacher. Absence delivered the lesson. Distance explained value more clearly than presence ever did. Only through consequence does true appreciation grow roots. 6. God removed you to expose emotional immature attachment. When I was a child, I talked like a child, I thought like a child, I reasoned like a child. 1 Corinthians 13 verse 11. Some connections rest on convenience rather than care. Some bonds depend on access rather than effort. Removal exposed the difference. True connection seeks growth. Immature attachment seeks comfort. Distance revealed emotional readiness, or lack of it. Growth demands responsibility. Absence demands maturity. 7. God removed you to prepare both souls for alignment. He makes everything beautiful in its time. Ecclesiastes 3 verse 11. Separation clears paths. Space resets direction. Distance prepares alignment. Some connections pause so both sides can grow separately. Some end so purpose can continue forward. Either way, removal redirects energy toward destiny. What aligns returns transformed. What fails to align fades peacefully. Nothing sacred gets lost. What they feel now that you are gone. The eyes of the blind will be opened. Isaiah 35 verse 5. Absence brings awareness, awareness brings reflection, reflection brings emotion. They feel silence where warmth once lived, they feel emptiness where support once stood, they feel longing where certainty once rested, feeling arrives without invitation. What you gain through divine removal. God restores the years the locusts ate. Joel 2 verse 25. Peace returns, strength rebuilds, self-worth realigns. No longer shrinking to maintain connection, no longer explaining value, no longer waiting for recognition, restoration begins quietly. This removal served purpose. Be still, and know that I am God. Psalm 46 verse 10. This separation carried intention, this distance delivered wisdom, this silence spoke truth. Nothing sacred ended without reason, nothing valuable disappeared without return, nothing meaningful separated without purpose. If this message reached your heart, it arrived on time. Support content that speaks truth, heals wounds, and restores clarity. Subscribe for deeper spiritual teachings. Share this message with someone walking through separation. Peace follows understanding, understanding follows truth, truth always arrives, even through absence. Stay grounded. Stay guided.